Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Spider, and welcome back to another review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Animated Voyager class Lugnut. Now, I usually start off my reviews by taking a look at the packaging, but I don't have it anymore, so here's a trash can instead. Alright, enough of that. On to the figure. So here we have Lugnut here, and this released back in 2008, and based on his appearance from the Transformers animated cartoon. And the vehicle mode is supposed to be some kind of bomber plane. I'm unaware if it's supposed to be based on an actual plane or not, but either way, it is very accurate to the way he appears in the cartoon. We'll start off by taking a look at the front here. We'll focus in there. There we go. We got the front of the plane. We got a bunch of windows there, which it is translucent, but it's very dark, so it's kind of hard to see. You can kind of see a little bit there. There you go. You can see a little bit through there. Yeah. It's very nice. You got some turrets on either side. You got a turret at the top here. You got the wing with a nice golden Decepticon symbol there. And a big old bomb on either side of the wing. You got some teal there. You got the back of the plane, and you got this, the wing, I guess. Not the wing, the tail. I know planes. I don't. You got some red here on the front, just like in the show. Some of these do bend, unfortunately, because they are made of a softish plastic, so be aware, they will kind of get warped. You can see this one's a little bent already. You got the back of the plane. You got the bottom of the plane, which surprisingly actually doesn't look that bad. We'll focus in here a little bit better. Like, yeah, you can kind of tell those are his legs, but for the most part, it's not bad. It's a pretty clean looking plane mode. There's a view from the side. Overall, it's quite nice. The only real issue is that the front of the plane kind of splits open due to the transformation, but you can just close it back. Thankfully, even when it is split, the pieces don't move really much. It just splits. You can just close it back up and problem solved. And the turrets here do actually move, which I love that. Both turrets move. Even the turret here at the top can spin. I love that. I mean, how often do you see that, huh? I mean, most of the time when you have stuff like this on Transformers, it's just molded plastic and it doesn't move at all. But here, all the turrets move. Glorious. I love it. Do be careful of the ones on the front. They can pop off pretty easily when moving around. But they just go back on just as easily as they popped off. Another thing you can do with the plane is that it does have some landing gear. So you just flip that out and it does click into place. You can hear that. And just flip this one out. Hold it down. And it is actually functioning landing gear. They do roll. In fact, the plane can kind of roll on its own. I mean, the wheels aren't spinning too well right now for some reason. But he can roll a little bit. It's just not working right now very well right now at the moment. But yeah, the wheels actually work. I love that, because a lot of the times, especially on modern Transformer figures, the wheels are just molded plastic. So I love when they actually go through the effort of making them real wheels. I like that. So yeah, this is a pretty solid jet mode. I really like it. It's also quite big too. Yeah, I really like it, which it should be. I mean, it's Lugnut. He was huge in the original show. Actually, he was huge in the only one show because he only appeared in one series. That is weird and wrong. Lugnut should appear in more shows. He's a cool character. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the jet mode. We should move on to the size comparisons. Alright, so to start off the size comparisons, as always, here it is with a LEGO minifigure. With the Pack of Destruction minifigure Mothra. She always likes to tilt forward. With the Pack of Destruction minifigure Godzilla. Alright, now into some more relevant size comparisons. Here it is with the McDonald's Transformers Animated Lugnut, which actually was my only Lugnut figure for the longest time. Yeah, I'm very glad to have the real thing now. Here it is with the Transformers Generation Cybertronian Megatron, aka War for Cybertron Megatron. His canon is elsewhere, so whatever. It is with the War for Cybertron Soundwave in 2010. It is with the Transformers Animated Cybertron Mode Ratchet. And here it is with the previous Transformers Animated Decepticons I reviewed. So we can get them all lined up here. Move them that way. And you can see Lugnut is quite a bit bigger than all of them. Kind of dwarfs them in size. Again, as he should. Alright, now we're done with that. It's measuring time. I think I should raise up the camera for this, because, again, it's a big figure, really need the space. Alrighty, so the length of this guy is basically, oh goodness, you still can't even see. Hang on. See, he's basically 8 inches long. So yeah, it's quite large. Right, hook over there. Got about a 8-inch wingspan as well, and the jet stands at about 2 inches tall. So yes, quite large, quite large. He is a beefy boy. Alrighty, now that we're done with the jet mode, it's on to the robot mode. Okay, now, before we get on to the transformation, I just wanted to show off something kind of funny that I found. If you only half transform it, you can get a big old jet with arms and legs. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of neat and kind of funny. Alright, now on to the transformation. Okay, we got him back in the jet mode. So, to start with the transformation, first thing you want to do is come back here and just pull this whole bit off and set that aside. You can leave it on, you don't have to take it off, but I do. So I'm I can't speak. You don't have to take it off if you don't want to, but I do want to. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, next thing you want to do is come down here and just untab these side panels. And just fold those up. And what you want to do is come down here and just untab the legs from this bit. You see there's a tab right there, and it went into that slot right there. So now we have this thing on a swivel. You want to rotate it around, come down here, you get these two bits right here, which will just plug into that, and that'll secure that in all place. So let's finish up with the lower body and get the legs transformed. We'll just pull down the legs, flip out the toes, and flip out the heel spurs, and he's got 2 of them, so he's nice and secure. I appreciate that. And we're done with the legs. Alrighty, now what we want to do is come back here, and this figure has a bit of an automorph transformation, which is kind of cool. Basically, you just take this whole piece, flip it down, and that automatically flips up the head and splits the chest. Ain't that nice? Yeah, now what you want to do is come here to the wings. I don't know why I keep messing that up. Fold them up like so. Yeah, fold them up. And then you untab the arms. It's big right there, goes in that hole. Fold them down. And what you want to do is take these things, pull on them, and that will click the hand into place, and that's all transformed. And then what you want to do is just repeat that on the other side. And you are basically done. You have Lugnut in this robot mode. Now there's some little touches you can do as well. Like I like to come back here and just fold these panels so they're closer to the body. And I also like to fold up the turrets a little bit, like so. I don't know why I like to do that, I just do. Anyways, that is Lugnut all transformed in his robot mode. Now, for articulation, this figure has nothing at the head. unfortunately. I really wish they could have added something there, but yeah, no. Unless you want to count that, you can kind of look down, but yeah, nothing at the head, unfortunately. The shoulders are on a ratchet, and they can go all the way around. The shoulders, or whatever, I guess that was the shoulder. This bit can go that far out. Does have a bicep swivel, has a double bend at the elbow, so you can get that far of a bend until the big old chunky hand starts bumping into the shoulder bit there. And the fingers are basically non-existent. I mean, you got these things which can kind of wiggle, but if you try and twist them too far, it'll just pop off. So, yeah, not a lot of articulation there. Also, be aware that this whole arm assembly can pop off, but it just plugs right back on, so you ain't got to worry about that. Nothing at the waist due to how it transforms. The legs can kick that. Yeah, it's going to go around the way. Can kick that far forward. And, ooh, it's a tight joint that far back. Surprisingly, he can in fact do the splits. Wouldn't think Lugnut could, but he can. Have an above the knee swivel and a full bend at the knee due to the transformation. The foot can go up and down. You can adjust the heels if you want, and that's pretty much it for the articulation. So he is a little limited, but for a figure of his age, it's not bad. Yeah, he's got just enough to get him moving. Now we should move on to the details, so we'll focus in here. We got Lugnut's face and his big old eye and big old jaw. He has other eyes on the sides of his head. And I do think it was supposed to have light piping, but I think they painted over it, because no matter how much light I shine through, the eye does not light up in any way, shape, or form. So that's unfortunate. I kind of wish they would have just left it as is instead of trying to paint over it, but what are you going to do? You got a gold Decepticon symbol in the front, even though it was purple in the show, I think. You got the frontal plane, which is now his pecs, I guess. You got the wing, which has now become an arm. Got some cool details there. You got this very strange hand, I guess. You got his little stubby legs. You got the back of the figure, which is actually not bad. These anime figures have been pretty clean when it comes to the back. They haven't had too much stuff back there. And when they have, it's kind of how they looked in the show anyways. So yeah, it does kind of hang a little low, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. So yeah, detail-wise, except for the hands, they did a pretty good job of capturing the way Lugnut looks. He is quite nice. He's big and beefy, and quite wide as well. So yeah, I like it. I do. Now, that is not all the robot has to offer. There is one more thing we can talk about. We have to bring this part of the vehicle mode back. Basically, what you want to do is fold that down, and it's transformed, and it becomes what is this again? Oh, that's right, it's Lugnut's staff. Yeah, you remember Lugnut's staff, right? That he used in like one episode and then never again. Yeah, why is this part of the figure? I don't understand why they felt the need to include this. But it's here, and it's not great. So basically, what you're supposed to do is there's a button there and a button there. What you want to do is plug it into his hand. It's easier said than done, plugging it into his hand. And then there's a little button at the bottom here. You want to press that on the ground. Let's focus on the camera here. Press that on the ground, and nothing happened. Yeah, it doesn't work. You can get it to work, but you have to push the button manually. So what you want to do is get like a pencil or something that can reach in that hole. And just press that button, and then press that, It still doesn't work. You have to manually push these things up, and boom. That's it. That's what the staff does. These bits pop up, and it's... Yeah, if this was not part of the vehicle mode, it would be completely useless. This thing is just... yeah. It sucks. I'm just gonna say, this thing, it's terrible. It doesn't work, and apparently not working is a widespread issue. Most people have the same problem. And it's just, even when you do get it to work, it's just not fun. It's kind of pointless, and I don't really care for it. You know? It's... yeah. It's not great. But I suppose Lugnut does look kind of cool when he's holding it. That doesn't look too bad. You can hold it up in the air if you want. That's kind of neat. But other than that, it's just not a great accessory. And I know other animated figures didn't have great accessories either. Like Black Arachnia's hook wasn't the greatest, but at least that was kind of fun, you know? It was neat to mess around with, and I liked messing around with it. But this, the only reason I messed around with this was to try and get it to work! Sorry about that. Someone was calling me. But like I was saying, the only reason I messed around with this thing was to try and get the stupid thing to work. Other than that, it's just, yeah, it's not great. But if you don't want him holding it, you can just leave it plugged onto the back, like so. It does make him a bit back heavy, but you just have him lean forward a little bit, and it's fine. So you can do that. It does make his back a bit bigger though. So, yeah, that's that. Pretty much the weakest part of the figure. But besides that, the figure is nice. It is a little disappointing with the head and the hands, but it's not terrible. I can look past it. So yeah, overall, it's pretty neat. It's a neat figure. Alrighty, now onto the size comparisons, part 2. Alrighty, to start off the size comparisons once again, here it is with a Lego minifigure. With the Packet Destruction minifigure Mothra, who always tips forward. The Packet Destruction minifigure Godzilla. Onto the more relevant comparisons, here it is with the McDonald's Animated Lugnut. It is with the 2010 War for Cybertron Soundwave. Here he is with Lugnut's favorite bot in the world, the 2010 War for Cybertron Megatron. Here it is with the animated Cybertron mode Ratchet. And here it is with the 2 previous cons I've reviewed, Black Arachnia and Lockdown. And here we can start to see one of the main complaints that people have with this figure, and that is Lugnut is way too short. You know, like Lockdown being taller, maybe, but Black Arachnia? She should not be taller than Lugnut, especially since both of these guys are deluxes, and he's a Voyager. So, yeah, this is kind of unfortunate that Lugnut is kind of short. I mean, he's still a big figure in size of, like, in terms of mass, but, like, height-wise, he is kind of a short. I mean, look, he's not even 6 inches tall. And he's a Voyager. So it's like, yeah. That is kind of annoying that they made him so short. But, what can you do? What can you do? And, overall, Lugnut's not a bad figure. I do like him. He's fun. But yeah, the shortness is kind of annoying. And also the fact that he doesn't really have hands is also kind of annoying. But overall, like I said, he's fun. So if you're a big fan of Lugnut, yeah, I recommend him. Now, if you wanted this figure for yourself on eBay, like all the other animated figures, it ain't cheap. It's going for around $60 out of the box. And if you want it brand new in the box, well over $100. So, yeah, pretty expensive. I mean, I paid like around a little over 50 bucks for mine. So, yeah, kind of expensive. And he also did have a couple repaints. He had the Takara version, which had more cartoon accurate colors, and there's the Atomic version, which is like lime green for some reason. I don't know, it's kind of odd. But anyways, that has been my review of Transformers Animated Lugnut. Hope you all enjoyed. See you later. Sayonara. Bye.